Hi. So a couple days ago, I did the last video, and of course, the video cut off because I guess we ran out of room. But it's been a couple days. I've been busy, and today is the weekly Shabbat. It's let's see, Thursday was day 1, Friday. So this is day 3 of Unleavened Bread today. I'm going to continue pretty much where I left off with the laws for Passover in verse 43. It says, "This is the law of the Passover offering. No foreigner shall eat of it." This is Exodus 12:43. A foreigner is a person who is not in covenant with Yahweh. And so, it also says a slave, if he is circumcised, may eat of it. But your males must be circumcised. No bound or hired laborer eaten, let's see. But any slave man has bought may eat of it once he has been circumcised. No bound or hired laborer shall eat of it. It shall be eaten in one house. You shall not take any of the flesh outside the house, nor shall you break a bone of it. So right there, Yeshua, when he was crucified as our sacrifice, as they died, they went to the 2 thieves on the outside of Yeshua, one each side of Yeshua, and they broke the legs of they broke their legs. And with Yeshua, when they came to him, they found that he was already dead, and so they just pierced his side, and out flowed blood and water. Blood is for the forgiveness of sin, and water cleanses you. So, verse 46 or 47. The whole community of Israel shall offer it. If a stranger who dwells with you would offer the Passover to Yahweh, all his males must be circumcised. Then he shall be admitted to offer it. He shall then be a citizen of the country, but no uncircumcised person may eat of it. That was one, like I said a couple days ago, when I made the first video. I said about the Sabbath, the Shabbat, being one of the signs. It's like a wedding feast, and the bride and groom, the bride wears a ring, and as a symbol of the marriage. Well, Shabbat is the main sign, and another sign is circumcision among the males. A woman, she cannot be circumcised, but all man and woman, all mankind, if they were to come into covenant with Yahweh, they would need to be circumcised of heart. That's one, but what I was going to say is, that's one sign is circumcision. In some pagan nations, some Gentile nations, circumcision isn't a option. It's not one of those things that they do. And so that's why the groups of nations that were around Israel, whenever they were coming out of Egypt and going to the Promised Land, the nations would have to, if they wanted to be in covenant with Israel, they had to be circumcised. All their males had to be circumcised, because that just wasn't their way of life. They're pagan gods, and otherwise. But with Yahweh, Israel's God, they had to be circumcised. To be circumcised of heart, because a woman and a man would have to be circumcised of heart to be in covenant. And it's mentioned throughout the Old Testament, it's mentioned in the New Testament about circumcision of the heart. And that is when you follow Yahweh's commandments. I'm going to turn here real quick to Deuteronomy chapter 10. It's verse 16 I'll start in verse 12 though. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. And now, O Israel, what does Yahweh your God demand of you? Only this, to revere Yahweh your Elohim, to walk only in his paths, to love him, and to serve Yahweh your God with all your heart and soul, keeping Yahweh's commandments and laws, which I enjoin upon you today for your good. Mark, the heavens to their uttermost reaches belong to Yahweh your God, the earth and all that is on it. Yet it was to your fathers that the Lord, that Yahweh, was drawn in his love for them, so that he chose you, their lineal descendants, from among all peoples, as is now the case. Cut away or circumcise the thickening about your hearts. So circumcise your hearts, and stiffen your necks no more. For Yahweh your God is God supreme, and Adonai, Lord supreme. The great, the mighty, and the awesome God, who shows no favor and takes no bribe, but upholds the cause of the fatherless and the widow, and befriends the stranger, providing him with food and clothing. You too must befriend the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. So we must be circumcised of heart. If James says, and I've mentioned this in the past video, that James says faith without works is dead, and works without faith is dead. And it's this way. If you just go through the motions of doing the mechanics of the law, but you don't have faith, you don't have circumcision of the heart, which is the spirit, you're not doing the spirit of it, then it's no good. You're just doing works. You're not having the faith. So, verse 49 says, there shall be one law for the citizen and for the stranger who dwells among you. So, this law, and it's other places that's mentioned, but right here we're talking about Passover. There is only one law. It's for the stranger and the citizen of Israel who dwells among you. There's not two different laws, one for them and one for the others. Just one law. And all the Israelites did so. As Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did. That very day, Yahweh freed the Israelites from the land of Egypt, troop by troop. So I'm going to go ahead and, I know this is short, but I wasn't done with the video, and it stopped. I guess we ran out of room or something. So we're going to stop the video there, and I may go ahead and start another video soon after. Thank you for watching.